auto was.
What's up, Mrs. O?
Reading a book.
Reading a book, Trinity.
Time for story time?
Trinity. You join a gang? Huh? Are you hiding on me? Story time?
Yeah. You come for story time?
No. Worried about this girl, though. Alright, folks, so I came outside into this Dodge Journey that was dropped off several days ago. I don't know what year it is, 14 or 15 perhaps. A guy took it to the Chrysler garage, so I'm told, and they told him that it needs a heater core. It doesn't have any heat. Evidently, they tried to flush it into no valve. It doesn't work. So I'm letting it warm up. There are some parts off here on the floor. I'll show you that. So that's how the vehicle arrived. Looks like a blend door actuator of some sort. A couple screws and the little hush panel or closure that goes down there. The glove box is broke or something, but anyhow, I'll tell you what I think we're gonna do. What I think I'm gonna do is see what's really wrong with it. See, cause you don't do a heater core one of these about 8 hours. The car's got a $160 on 157 thou, and it's coming into summertime, so who really needs heat? But what we'll do, I guess before we even drive it around and warm it up, we'll pull it in the shop, get this rigmarole back together to see, you know, is everything working? Let's get some baseline, because last thing I want to do is go wing a heater core in it, be like, here's your bill for $10 zillion, and find out, oh yeah, it was just a bad blend door actuator. Who knew? I popped her glove box out. It wasn't much holding her in. There was a plastic duct right here that they had up here. It was just kind of half-assed hanging on up here, so I just took and popped that out. And then I seen on this, on the actuator, they took the liberty of only removing 2 screws and then just snapping the third one off back in here. Let's see. I don't know if we can see it, but yeah, that screw back in there. You know, must have been a little difficult to get to, so they elected to just, what do you want me to do, just snap it off? That's what they did. So, anyhow, I'm going to get this put back on. The door does appear to thunk, makes it sound. We'll put it back together, then we'll see what's really happening here. Actuator is reinstalled. I'll run her down to the cold position. We should be able to see it move. You know, I got crappy camera skills. Okay, so I'm going back full cold. She goes all the way down, and then I'll run her back up full hot here. We should see it move, and we're back to full hot. So there she is. Start to finish, seemed to fit okay despite the broken screw. Pulled it outside, letting it warm up here for a while, just looking through some data, just seeing, make sure everything looks right. There is no codes in it. Been through a few different things here. No codes. I went through, did the calibrator, the actuator calibration here. Let that run through. Just wanted to make sure everything's kind of cool before we start. Ran it through all the different modes. Floor, defrost, panel, all that seems to work good. So nothing real funky going on there. The recirculation works. So now I just need to let it warm up. We need to see, get a baseline. What kind of temperatures do we have coming out of the dash? Is it cold over here, hot over here? You know, what's the story? And then see what we have to do. May have to put a heater core in it. Car's fully warmed up, super hot, 206. So we've got her warmed up pretty good. About 40 degrees outside-ish. Wow, it's sitting here, it's about 30 really. Neither here nor there, I guess. We got on panel, I got the blower speed on number 4. Thermocoupler, left vent at an idle. We're about $1.25, 123.3 F. Or for the folks across the pond or whoever uses Kelvin, about 50 degrees C. So 121-ish, 123, somewhere's around that neighborhood. That's left vent. Now we're gonna we'll come over here, I'll do a far extreme right vent. We'll just see, because it's obviously cooler. Well, not obvious to you, I'm in here, I can feel it. It feels cooler out this side. And we can see it clearly is. It's dropping like a rock. And it seems to be warmer, warm, not so warm, cold. So it seems to kind of be this spectrum, and that's holding around 70 or 295 Kelvin or 21 degrees F. So about 75, 70, somewhere's in there. Chilly, cold on that side for being a 200-degree car. Pretty classic heater core symptoms. I'm thinking the Chrysler garage is correct. However, what we can do, if these heater hoses are easy to get to, we can try to give it the old flusheroo before we get into it. The guys seem to be open to that. If the flush worked, go for it, but he seemed to think that it probably wouldn't because it had already been attempted. So, but if it worked, it works. If it doesn't, then I lose a little bit of time and still have to tear the dash out of this, which isn't a huge deal. 5, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that. But let's try that first, folks, just so we know. Well, I tell you right now, folks, ain't nobody tried to flush this heater core unless they did a fantastic job of perfectly realigning the clamp and the dust and the paint marks and the crust. And then I said, well, you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt there, Mr. O. Because they probably did it back here at the heater core. You know, the hoses that you can't reach. And then I can't even show you because you can't even see the dang things. But nobody had touched those either because they still have the rust and the dust and the crust. So I think they got scammed. I don't know if they got scammed because I don't know if they got charged for it, but he did tell me that they flushed it. But I'll tell you right now, nobody's touched those ever in their life. Perhaps, but I could be wrong. But anyhow, I'm just showing you what I'm seeing and what I'm observing. I'm hoping that I just misunderstood the guy and that they didn't flush it. I'm pretty near positive. I guess I could call him again and find out. Maybe we will before the end of the video, before we throw our friends at Fiat under the bus. But I'm near certain because I asked him when he brought it in. I said, "Do you want to try flushing it first?" And I'm near positive he said, "Well, they already did," and that's how he knows it needs a heater core. So maybe it was a long time ago. But if not, they are darn good because even this clamp with the factory paint marks and stuff is still lined up perfectly. Well, I was out on my drive and we warmed it up. I stopped by the DG, that's code word for the Dollar General, and I got us a little secret brew down there and called CLR, calcium lime rust. We're gonna circulate that through the heater core. Let that go for an hour or two while we eat some lunch. And I've had pretty good results with that. Learned that little trick from Honda. They got a bolt-in on their newer CRVs. Same thing happens. The heater core partially plugs, loses heat on one side. They tell you to run some CLR through it for an hour or so, flush it out, and bada bing, bada boom. Robert's your mother's brother. And Mrs. O, Robert's your mother's brother, Bob's your uncle?
Robert was my mother's father.
No, Robert's your mother's brother.
No.
If you want to say Bob's your uncle. It's a fancy way of saying it.
I got a cousin, Bob.
You're not helping me here. So what's up, Mrs. O?
Just making sure you know you have an 11 o'clock.
Sure do. Why would you? Why? Because Josh is pulling one over there?
Yeah, so
you
it's
think
here,
I'm running a
once here,
disorganized operation?
Sometimes.
How long have I been doing this?
All right. You know what? I just come out here and help you. Just figure it out.
I appreciate
I don't want
it.
to do that again.
So, appreciate it. But yeah, we know.
It sounds like you appreciate it.
I do. Can you smile? Okay, no. I appreciate it. What else is new?
New?
Same old stuff, huh? Same old stuff. Here comes a child. Hey. What's up, Trinity? Tell us about your headband. I see you started wearing that this weekend. Did you join a gang? Huh? The homeschooling locals?
Yeah.
All your classmates? just wearing it just because?
Mm-hmm.
No. I guess the Cultivate Love shirt really.
Counterbalance.
Yeah. Give you the rundown. The heater hoses are both unhooked. Heater hose A, heater hose B. I've put extensions on them just with regular standard 5/8 inch heater hose. plastic 5/8 to 5/8 couplers, so I use these quite often. Run them both down, and I've got a little circulation pump I bought off the Amazon, made from True Pow. It's a cheap one. I think I paid like 69 bucks for that baby. And then the idea is that we're gonna have this constant circulation, sucking the water up, pouring the water out, just flowing it in one heater core hose and then whee, right back out the other, back into the bucket. So I've got that hooked up, got it primed, just clear water now. Made sure I got all the old antifreeze and junk out of the heater cord, so she's flowing clear. And now we're just gonna add our CLR and let her cook. Fresh from the DG at $3.50 a piece. They used to sell it in the big one, in the big container, but now it's plant-based and woman-owned, and this probably doesn't even work anymore, is what that amounts to.
No more harsh chemicals.
Yeah, no more harsh chemicals. You used to be able to, like, you breathe this stuff in, you're like, holy crap, I can't breathe. Like, you get it on your skin and you can feel the burn. But I don't know. Maybe it's still just as good. Smells like it always used to. We're gonna put it in here. Usually I just buy the big gallon jug and douse it, but that one is already opened. I don't know anything about this chemically. Probably shouldn't use it on aluminum, plastic, steel, copper, linoleum, porcelain, or anything really, other than probably glass. But so don't follow this procedure. The only reason I do it is because Honda had it in one of their service bulletins and it worked really, really well. I've used this method multiple times with great success. I've never had it eat up anybody's heater core or plastic tubs fall off it or anything, but I am sure in the comments that everybody will get that all straightened out as to why this process is wrong. So, use with caution, I guess. After a bit of time, I have paused the operation by turning the pump off, and I flip-flopped my hoses up here to reverse the flow. Well, it's been going for a while. Now, it's hard to tell what you have for progress because you just can't tell by looking at it. It's feeling like it's time, and I think I'm going to shut the system down, and then what we do is I just continually flush water through it until it's coming out crystal clear. Just be sure to dispose of all your stuff in accordance with local and area and federal laws. Just like that, we are flowing as clear as crystal. Right now I ran probably, I don't know, 35, 40 gallons of water. Just making sure that there is no more trace of the CLR left. Left our original brew in here. Maybe we can look in it once the fuzz is gone. I don't remember how clean this bucket was though. But now that it's flowing clean, we're just gonna slow her down. And you can see some flakes starting to show up down there floating around. Some crap that's breaking loose. So what I wanna do is blast some air through it, make sure all the chunks and stuff are gone, probably reverse the flow there again, and just make sure all the junk is out of it that we can get out of it, and give her a try. That's gonna be kind of extreme. Better get a bucket without stuff in it already. Alright, so I've got air blowing through it just through here. Now we're gonna introduce a little water, kind of agitate it. Whoa, big extreme. It's gonna be an extreme waste of time if this doesn't work. I want to shut off the water flow here. And then I'm just going to go the other direction with it. So we'll stick this hose in there. And we'll see if we can't blast her out the other direction. go. Let's add some water. And I never put my hose connections on with clamps or anything in case something does get super extreme, it just pops apart. Same thing under the hood, no hose clamps. Just kind of allows it to come apart if it has to. But this usually agitates it quite well, breaks everything up. So now I'm just going to let some water flow straight through it. It's good and flushed out. You can see it kind of re-agitated some of that CLR that was in there. At least now we can be confident that it's cleared out. And then I never like putting full air pressure to it when the heater core is full of water because it can't push it out fast enough. That's when you take a chance of damaging something, especially if you're running unregulated air pressure to it. Which we are, because we're crazy. Okay, I'm confident it's as good as it's going to get. Heater core flushing tool, pretty fun, works well. Hose is reinstalled, coolant refilled. Before we put the cover back on, we will go outside here, warm it up, cross your fingers. It's time to send out the good vibes and the good juju to us. I gotta get this, gotta start it up here. I was just talking with a fella outside for a while, so this thing was sitting in here running. Gotta get it blowing on the floor. It's hot, real hot. I do want to go for a ride. We'll make sure we got all the air out of this heater core. And we'll take its temperature. Busy place here, fella. Alright, so we're pulled over. It is fully warmed up. I brought this little guy because I thought it would be easier to just, you know, pew, 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 pew. And I had to turn the blower down. I hope it's not blowing up in your face and drowning out my audio, but we're going to just go around each vent here before too long. Just kind of get the max readings for 164. Just kind of twirl it all around. 163. Come over here to this side. Kind of twirl around, let it gather its max reading. 160.9. I guess I'll just give it the classic reach over. I don't know how far. It's so freaking hot in here. It's making me sick to my stomach. 153.9. So what do we have? About a, whatever the math there is, 6 degrees difference between. Well, that's 163, 163. I mean, if we're talking less than 10 degrees over on this far duct, DUCT, 151. I'm not gonna sweat the petty stuff, or pet the sweaty stuff. Not gonna sweat the petty stuff. I guess it is. 163. Not gonna worry about it, folks. It is hotter than the hubs of Hades in here. It's hot. This lady is not going to complain about this. 150 to 160. She complains about that. She's cray cray. Let's go back to the shop. I gotta roll the windows down. It's hot. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear me over the wheel bearings or not. Maybe it's the tires. They do have some big old diggers on here. Woo, that dash is hot. I'm just setting you guys up here so we can record it. It's like, that is burning. How hot is the top of that freaking dash pad? 152 degrees. Just the top of the dash. It's like gonna melt. Anywho, we're gonna leave it at that, folks. Now, I don't know what you guys are gonna think about this. From an economical standpoint, it's stupid. Because obviously I could make a ton more money putting the heater core in this, because it would be a solid, you know, 7 to 8 hours labor plus the part and markup on the part and coolant and so on and so forth. But I just look at it in the sense that it's a high mileage Chrysler from New York. You know, if you can just flush it and make it work, the customer's gonna be happy, because it's honestly not a lot of time. it's a lot of time waiting, so to speak. And that's, all we were doing was waiting, hook it up and just wait. How much easier can I say that? That's it. We just hook it up and wait. And that's that. And the CLR seems to work pretty good. I haven't had any immediate issues with it, and it's been, let's see, I bought that pump several years ago, so I've done quite a few since then. And I haven't had anybody come back with a heater core that, randomly just exploded or fell out, or we got to put this thing back on. So yeah, I've personally have not suffered any repercussions in the long term. Just make sure it's blowing off the floor here, and it is. So do what you like, do it with caution, do your own research. I always figured, hey, if it's good enough for Honda, it's good enough for Dodge. And I'm glad I learned that little trick with them. I had a friend one time who did the same thing, but I think he used toilet bowl cleaner, Drano, something like that. All I remember is the heater core melted. Essentially, the plastic had just went on it. It went on the customer's floor and like burnt the carpet, like it melted the carpet. I think it was Drano or something. He thought he was doing a real stroke of business because telling me all this black stuff's coming out of the heater core, and I'm like, it sounds like the heater core is coming out of the heater core. But anyhow, he found out the hard way. Not a good idea. So CLR seems to work. They're not a sponsor, of course. I wish they were, because I would have saved $3.50 per unit. Probably cheaper to buy it by the gallon. I'm done rambling. Oh, remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.